If you are a fan of Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind, this video is for you. In this deep dive, we explore the story behind the songs and lyrics of this iconic heavy metal album, from the ancient myths that inspired Flight of Icarus, the war stories of the Trooper, and Where Eagles Dare, and the meaning behind Die With Your Boots On. We'll explore the themes and ideas that make Peace of Mind such a beloved album. So join us on this journey through heavy metal history and discover why Peace of Mind remains one of Iron Maiden's greatest works. This album was released on May 16th, 1983. It is celebrating its 40th anniversary. So for those of you who know my channel, I usually do anniversary reviews where I talk about songs that give background. I talk more about the music, the guitars and drums. But I've done that before with this band, and I've done a review of this album before. So I'm going to do something different. I'm going to be focusing on the lyrics of the songs. I'll talk about what they mean, everything about them, so hopefully something you will like. Songs I will be covering will be Where Eagles Dare, Flight of Icarus, Die With Your Boots On, and The Trooper. Make sure you stay to the end, because as a bonus, I'm going to talk about a cover song that they did around this time, which I feel is better than the original. The opening track is Where Eagles Dare. This is based on a movie that came out in 1968. The movie stars Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood. The movie is about a small group of Allied soldiers who go to a remote fortress in the German Alps and rescue a prisoner of war. So basically the song tells the story and paints a picture right from the beginning. So here's the first verse. So it's snowing outside, the rumbling sound of engines roar in the night. The mission is near, the confident men are waiting to drop from the sky. So here we see soldiers who are in an airplane getting ready to drop down in the camp. We get to the third verse and we see that the soldiers have found the fortress and are ready to attack. So here are the lyrics. They're closing in, the fortress is near, it's standing high in the sky, the cable car is the only way in, really impossible to climb. And then the fourth verse says, the panicking cries, the roaring of guns, the echoing all around the valley, the mission complete, they make to escape away from the eagle's nest. So throughout the song, they're using this metaphor of an eagle's nest as a fortress. When the song ends, they learn the mission was a success. Next, I want to talk about Flight of Icarus, based on Greek mythology. Story based on Icarus. He was a boy who was in prison, and he was with his father named Daedalus, and in the Palace of No Souls, they try to escape. They created these wings from feathers and wax so they could fly away. Now in the story, Icarus' father told him not to fly too close to the sun, but being he was this rebellious teenager, he went too close to the sun, the wax melted, and he fell to his death. The story is more of an analogy about a teenage rebellion. So let's take a look at the lyrics. As the sun breaks above the ground, the old man stands on the hill. As the ground warms to the first rays of light, a bird song shatters the still. And in verse 2 it says, now the crowd breaks and a young boy appears, looks the old man in the eye. He spreads his wings and shouts to the ground, in the name of God my Father, I'll fly. So here it is, this young boy, he's not listening to his father. He just wants to do what he wants to do. So in the pre-chorus it says, his eyes seem so glazed as he flies on the wings of a dream. Now he knows his father betrayed, now his wings turn to ashes, ashes his grave. So the story, just like the original, where he doesn't listen to his father and he falls and dies. So in the chorus they say, fly in your way like an eagle, flies high as the sun. So in the lyric, the boy is feeling like he's an eagle. He can do anything. Sometimes teenagers think they are indestructible. They don't have to listen to their parents. So they say, flies as high as the sun, but it was not a happy ending. So it's definitely a timeless classic. Let's talk about Die With Your Boots On. This track, I guess, on the surface, it's talking about soldiers who go out fighting, dying in war. That's the simple meaning of it, but there's also a deeper meaning. It's an expression, and it means you need to go out and live your life. And if things go bad, keep fighting, because you're going to die anyway. So you might as well live your life to the fullest. So we look at the first verse. It's more about war, where they say, yeah, another prophet of disaster. Who says the ship is lost? Another prophet of disaster, leaving you to count the cost. That evokes images of war, but the real meaning of the song is found in the refrain, where they sing, no point asking when it is, no point asking who's to go, no point asking what's the game, no point asking who's to blame. Basically that means the you're living your life. You can choose, you can stay in bed and die, or live your life and go out fighting, because throughout the song they're singing, if you're going to die, you're going to die. So just die with your boots on and keep living your life. So that's basically what this song is about. Let's talk about the most popular song in the album, The Trooper. And this is about a real story about a British soldier during the charge of the Light Brigade. It took place during the Battle of Balaclava in 1854. The lyrics are based on a poem that was written about 6 weeks after the event in question. The way the lyrics were written, they tell a story similar to the way they did with Where Eagles Dare. So in the first verse, the soldiers talk about getting ready to go into battle. So the lyrics are saying, "You better stand, there's no turning back. The bugle sounds, the charge begins." So that's really like they take off and they start to fight. So keep in mind they're also riding horses. So at this time we hear in the second verse when they say, "The horse, he sweats with fear. We break to run, the mighty roar of the Russian guns as we face towards the human wall. Screaming my pain as my comrades fall." So basically it evokes this image of a group of guys charging towards the Russian. They're all like lined up. They open fire on the soldiers, and he's seeing like all the other people around him just like dropping and dying. Then in verse 3 we learn the fate of the soldier. So the lyrics go, "We get so close, near enough to fight the Russian. Gets me in the sights. He pulls the trigger and I feel a blow, a burst around, takes my horse below." So basically the horse gets shot and he's laying on the ground. He's injured. And the last line, "As I lay there gazing at the sky, my body's numb, my throat is dry. As I lay forgotten and alone, without a tear, I draw my parting groan." So he knows he's going to die, and that's how the song ends. Okay, so here's the bonus. Let's talk about Cross-Eyed Mary. So the original song was by Jethro Tull. It appeared on the Aqualung album in 1971. The song tells the story of Mary and this schoolgirl prostitute type. She provides a service to basically people who live on the streets. And the lyrics of the song explore the idea that all people are God's creations in one way or another. You must find some type of humanity in these people. It's also interesting that Mary in the story is kind of like this Robin Hood prostitute. She takes as much money as she can from the clients who can afford it, and she gives away her services to those who can't. Another interesting piece of trivia in the song is that they mention a jackknife barber. That's a man who performs abortion, which I imagine be like those like dark alley abortions that happen. Another thing I like about the song is that the original song has Ian Anderson playing the flute, but when Iron Maiden covered it, they transcribed the flute sections into guitar. And I think that works very well in terms of a heavy metal song. And you saw how I was playing that in the quick little interlude I did. So I've always thought that Jethro Tull, they're not a metal band, that their music influenced heavy metal. And considering that members of Iron Maiden grew up listening to Jethro Tull when they were young. So that was their main influence. And there really wasn't a lot of heavy metal in the early 70s anyway, so that's what they were listening to. So that's all for this video. If you like this video format, let me know if you want me to do a part 2. Because there's still a lot of songs on this album I haven't talked about, and they all have a story behind them. I just want to keep this video under 10 minutes. So let me know if you want me to make part 2 in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like this video. It helps me with the algorithm. Please remember to comment. I like comments. I like to respond to them. And thanks for watching. See you in the next one. And here's the original review of Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind, which I did, I think, maybe like right before Senjutsu came out. I just like talk about the songs of the album and everything, and I cover some of the same stuff. So that is all. See you in the next one.